You'll recall from previous lessons that in the patristic period, many Christian theologians believed that many aspects of Neoplatonism were true to Scripture, so they expressed their beliefs with an orientation toward that philosophy. In the medieval period, the vast majority of Christian scholars believed that Aristotelian philosophy was true to Scripture in many significant ways. So many of the things they said were shaped by Aristotelian perspectives. And even in Protestant systematic theology, various modern philosophies have, for better or worse, provided important orientations. And as a result, many claims that appear in systematic theology stem from philosophical discussions. Now, we have to be careful as we notice that many propositions derive from such philosophical roots, because the Scriptures both warn us against philosophy and encourage us to use it. On the one side, we should give heed to warnings like 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20, where the Apostle Paul mocked non-Christian philosophy. Where is the wise man? Where is the scholar? Where is the philosopher of this age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world? It's critical that Christian theologians remember the basic antithesis between Christian theology and non-Christian philosophies. But at the same time, in Acts chapter 17, verses 27 and 28, Paul demonstrated a positive use for philosophical reflection by drawing from the words of the Greek philosophical poets Cleanthes and Aratus. God is not far from each of us. As some of your own poets have said, we are his offspring. This passage demonstrates that although we must be aware of the dangers, Christian theologians have been right to interact with various philosophies, and they've been right even to incorporate true theological claims that stem from philosophical discussions, even as Paul did when he was in Athens. Although we should be aware of these philosophical roots, the Bible is by far the most important source for theological propositions and systematics. For this reason, we should give special attention to the ways systematicians form their theological claims from what the Bible teaches. To accomplish this goal, we'll look in three directions. First, we'll consider the challenges that systematicians face in this regard. Second, we'll see how systematicians meet one aspect of these challenges through a process that we will call factual reduction. And third, we'll explore how systematicians meet another aspect of these challenges through factual collation. Let's look first at the challenges that systematicians face as they form propositions from the Bible. When students of theology first begin to study systematics, they often have the impression that creating theological propositions from the Bible is a simple matter. They think that we only need to read the Bible and to repeat what it says. Sometimes this is true because the Bible does include some propositions, but there are also many significant challenges. In addition to the effects of human finitude and sin, the Scriptures themselves present at least two challenges to forming theological propositions. One challenge rises out of the literary variety we find in the Bible, and another challenge rises out of the doctrinal arrangement of the Bible. Consider first the difficulties that systematicians face because of the literary variety of the Scriptures. The Bible is not a flat literary terrain, repeating the same kind of material over and over. Instead, a number of genres appear throughout the Bible and combine with each other in countless ways. The Bible contains mixtures of narrative, law, poetry, prophecy, and epistles, to name just a few. Within each of these larger genres are different kinds of expressions: statements, commands, questions, complaints, encouragements, exclamations, benedictions, quotations, lists, statutes, titles, technical instructions, signatures. The list goes on and on and along with these varieties are countless figures of speech and other literary subtleties that flavor Scripture in many different ways. This great literary variety complicates the formation of theological propositions. Imagine for a moment that the Bible were a book consisting of only straightforward propositions, simply listing one theological fact after another. If this were the case, then using the Bible in systematic theology would be relatively easy. But of course, Scripture is not like this. It's literarily diverse. Now imagine that systematic theologians were inclined to express their theology with great literary variety. Imagine that their theologies were filled with poetry, narratives, commands, epistles, complaints, figures of speech, and the like. If this were so, then once again the presentation of Scripture and systematics would fit nicely with each other. But of course, this is not the case either.